Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Trade Love's weekly MES Futures Breakdown. It's me, Fatima, going to guide you guys to mastering how to trade SP500. We'll also look at gold. We'll look at our market structure in YM, which is US 30. We'll just go over the markets, look for some entries, look at our structure here, and practice entering, exiting the markets together. All right, you guys, I know I took a little break, but I am back here. It's my birthday month. So, July was amazing. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second here. What should we do? Okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and if you guys are here, if you're present, throw some hearts in the chat, throw some likes, love the video, and let's pull up our trading view. You guys know the routine. Let's see here. I didn't even bring out our charts. I usually like to keep our schedule here so that we know and go into our flow. We'll check out news. Let's see, what's our routine? Let me reshare this. Alrighty. Okay, what do you guys want to look at today? Excuse me. We usually look at ES. Do we want to start with gold or YM? Let's see. Who do we have in today? You guys get to pick. You guys know I'm trying to get in here with YM, with ES, excuse me. So let me zoom out a little bit. Oh, no, zoom in. There we go. That looks much better. Okay. Perfect. Let's go ahead and check our news today. You can use Forex Factory. Remember, before we hop on the charts, we're trying to see if we have any high impact data releases coming out around the time that we're trading so we can secure our trades. We know that there's a lot of volatility that happens during that time. And so we definitely don't want to be in the market while the market is doing all that. So secure our coins. It looks like today is a pretty smooth day. There are a bunch of data releases. However, nothing that should really move the market. We do have FOMC members speaking at 2 p.m. Eastern. So, okay, we can look at gold. Hey, Toby. Sure. We'll look at gold today. Let's see. Let's let the Telegram know. If you guys aren't in the Telegram group, please join. We try to drop our charts, try to talk about the markets. So let's see here. I also like to look at Econo Day just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Looking at the news here. Okay, looks like we are good to go. FinViz, let's just check our heat map. Ooh. And this is for S&P 500. Just giving us a visualization there. Looking kind of more so on the red side. Okay, so let's see. We have not been marking up I have been out and about. So we're going to be looking at our charts. I guess we haven't done gold from a high level view. So we'll go ahead and mark up our gold charts here from a higher time frame. Not too much movement today. Okay. So gold is GC1. If you're trading futures, if you're trading, you know, Forex, then you'll be looking over here by XAU USD. Let's see what's going on with my charts. Let's try it again. Whoa. Oh, give me 1 second here. I don't know what's going on with my charts. Let's see. Alrighty, so this is, I'm using Top Step for my funded account while we're learning how to trade futures here. Just practicing, live accounts, using small amounts there. So if you're using Ninja Trader or Tradeovate, whatever that is, I do always like to, at least practice here. Funded account with Top Step is only, $50 at the most basic level. So not risking too much while you're learning. Okay, this is SPX. Let's see here. So if we're going to look at gold, we'll go ahead and click the symbol search. I have my charts linked here. And we'll look up gold, micro gold. So are we going to go into gold and micros, or are we going to just go GC full blown? We'll take small amounts. Let's go into GC. So the difference between micros is that you're able to, manage your leverage there. You're not risking as much. Okay. So we have our Renko charts here. These little bars help me to identify volume as far as in helping me to stay on the right side of the market trend-wise. So for instance, the strategy that I use is just our 10-20 cross. So an EMA cross. I like to get in the market, make sure that I'm on the right side of, the trend. So if I see the 20, which is this 10, which is this gold line here, crossing the 10 EMA, which is this blue line, I'm going to go and get into a sell. If I see the opposite and we have a cross to the upside, then I'm getting into a buy. I use a couple different indicators just to help me to identify when to get in. I use my candlestick patterns, RSI to help with the momentum. So there's a couple different indicators that I use to help me to stay in my trade and get in my trade, but very simple, just very basic. If you just wanted to ask what strategy do I use a 10-20 strategy. Sorry, let's see. Can you guys see all this powder? I kind of OD'd this morning. Just threw all this powder. I'm still a powder girl. I'm sorry. Let's see. Hey, Maureen, how you guys doing? Okay, so we're looking at gold. We're in our practice funded account. So right now, if we were just looking at this trade, I see that our 10 crossed our 20. This tells me that I need to be looking for sells. And as we can see, the market has made lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows consistently since this at 9:45 p.m. last night. Price was at 34.7. So, and we can look at on TradingView setting up your alerts for these crosses so that when we have a cross, either to the downside or the upside, you get an alert from TradingView to your phone to alert you, hey, you need to look into the market here. You need to look at your pair. We have a cross. Look for an entry. If I had gotten into this trade here, of course, once we do get the alert for the cross, the sell has already happened. ideally, we would have been looking for that sell once we would have saw, price kind of reject at this level, our RSI, starting to sell here. What would have been interesting and what would have kind of maybe threw that sell off or made us think that maybe we needed to be back into this buy is that once price did get to this level, so once we had this nice buy here, price went up to 34.43, sold back down here to 34.33.8, and then it built this level of support. So there were hours from 12:30 p.m. all the way until about 7 p.m. So about 7 hours where price just kind of, just their sellers could not move the market below this area. So it built support. So we then had the buyers come in for this buy here, had a nice, you know, let's see here, 34.33 bought up to 34.40. So about 7 points there. Let's see here. If we had our Fibonacci and we looked at taking our fib from this high point to this low point, which is this wick here. I'm using my wicks, but I'm just bringing my fib across. And what I would use my Fibonacci in this instance is to see, all right, we have a sell. I want to see if price is just pulling back, meaning price is still making lower lows. We're still selling. I just want to see if prices, the market makes our highs and our lows. So where's my path tool? Okay. So I'm just trying to see if price is going to pull back to make this lower high before continuing to make this lower low and how far it's going to pull back to. So that's what I'm using my Fibonacci tool to see. The market is here. So let's just say the market is there, in this diagram. And now I'm looking to see where it has the potential to pull back to here before continuing to sell. So it did exactly that. It pulled back. I want to see price coming back to our 50-61.8 area. Price definitely came back here. We saw we had rejection. This is a 15-minute candle at the 61.8. And then boom, price just made a lower low, broke below this area of support, and has continued to kind of, we had this break. Let's talk about it. We had this break here. So this was the lowest point before. We had price pull back here. Price then made a lower low, broke below that low. So that was our signal. Okay, cool. We're continuing to sell. That's when the market would have given us this cross once price broke below this low. However, ideally we would have been in this sell, once price kind of came up here to the 61.8. That's if we were looking at the markets. But cool. Let's just say we got into this sell here. Once we got our cross, we just got the alert. We said, whatever, we're just going ahead and get in for a short. Let's just say the cross we got in here. We are, of course, going to bring our stop to the highest point here, to our next high. So we're risking 7 points. And now I always like to keep some sort of take profit point in whatever trade I'm going in. Now with these, so that's where my pivotal zones come in. And now I would look for the S0, the next lowest point, or the S1 on my pivotal zones for my take profit area. However, of course, if I'm still in this trade, if I wake up in the morning and I still see, that we're still in a selling trend on the 15-minute, I'm looking here, I can readjust, move my stop into profit. Even though I have a final destination there, I can always adjust according to if I have a pivotal level shift. But that's just how it set up my trade. So I at least set up my TP If I don't have my pivotal zones, I at least want to at least grab 20 points. So if I would have just set up 20 points, once I got this alert here around 10 p.m. last night, just let that baby go. Around 5:45 a.m., price would have hit my take profit area. So that, that's how we would have loved to set up this trade. This would have been amazing according to the strategy. Simple. This is kind of one of those set it and forget it kind of trades. It made a lower low here. Let's talk about it. Zoom in. Okay. So price, it came back. Remember, when we have a break, price usually tries to retest this break area. So it did that. It made a lower low again. So that's great. That's a good confirmation of that sell. Price came back over here to try to retest this area because remember, this was a major support area before. We had hours of candlesticks here just sitting in this zone. This is maybe a key level, 34, 33, around this area. So price came back here and retested that around 230. Was unable again. We've built now resistance here. Price is unable to come above this area. The buyers are unable to push price above that area. So great. Again, another confirmation of that sell. But what I love is that would have set it and forget it is that we wouldn't have been moving our stops all around and out of the trade here just for it to come back to our entry point, just for it to, make a lower low, just for it to come back and just kind of having us thinking that and doubting our trade and not being confident. However, look, we would have been sleeping and the market would have did its thing and our analysis would have played out just as it, just as we said it would. We would have gotten our 20 points, and that's great because I kind of want to be out of the trade. Once a trade gives you 20 points, even though you can still hold on to it, look at what would have happened here. Now we're getting into the end of London. We're kind of closing up a little bit. New York Open is about to happen. And now we might have a little bit of a pullback. We had this buy here. So price is still making higher lows. But look at this huge engulfing candle on the 15-minute. So now we have another area of support. We have, the candles. Remember, when you're marking out your areas, you don't need to be perfect. Just look at what you're seeing. Where is the market kind of coming to and unable to either push above or below? That's a key level. Okay. Let me take a look at my notes here. Let's see what we got. Okay, so we saw how we would have gotten into that trade. Let's go ahead and mark up what's going on right now. So right now, let's see here. Okay, so we kind of had, this was a high. It's an area where we had some resistance. So however you want to, label it, whatever you see it as. It's all the same thing there. Okay, so we had this area as our high. Price kind of formed support, came back over here to this previous high. The buyers were unable, to break above 34.22. Now we have this engulfing candle, but they also weren't able to make lower lows. So price kind of hit this 34.12 kind of area, came back here, and now we are forming that box. We're forming a little area of consolidation where we want to see how is price going to react? Now, remember when we have our EMAs and we are looking at our trends and we're looking at our cross, we want to see nice smooth movement. We want to see our EMAs kind of nice and spread apart. That shows us that we have a good trend. Once you see kind of the EMAs scrunching up together or kind of moving sideways a little bit, that's another that's another what kind of alert there, or just a heads up that we might have a little bit of a pullback. Kind of look right here. We had smooth downward movement, and then we had our EMAs scrunching up. What happened? We had a little bit of a pullback, and then boom, spread out. We had a nice movement here, and now we see kind of that sideways movement with those EMAs, and so that's kind of expected there. Let's see. That was weird. Okay, we are back. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at our pivotal levels here so we can actually try to see what are some areas that we can get into this market. Okay, so we looked at what I saw there, pulling back into our zones. Let's see, what's the next step? Is that easier for you guys to see? I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. Okay, so again, we're looking at futures. So let's go ahead and again, if you were looking at gold in the Forex, Oanda, this is our US broker here. The price is 3363.77. So there is a difference, in price within futures and Forex with the brokers. So just pay attention to the candles, just pay attention to market structure. Of course, this is on the 15-minute, and we were looking at the 15-minute. So let's take a look here. So pivotal levels are telling us that we are near the S0. So that's, an area of support, kind of what we marked out already, just looking at, a naked chart. And by naked chart, I mean just kind of a minimum. Well, I mean, we had our indicators there. We're just looking at structure and our candlestick patterns without any guidance as far as pivotal zones. Okay, so again, so typically, I like to mark up my charts on the higher time frames on TradingView. And then set my trades in my broker, my funded accounts, wherever it is. But I like to do my markup. I have all of my indicators. Remember, I do not sell any indicators. If you're in a group where I'm trying to sell a strategy or something, you're in the wrong group. That is a scam group. Please report them, block them. These indicators are free on TradingView. Your EMA crosses, I have, let's see here, a bunch of different EMAs. Let's just look at the cross. Oh. Higher, low, higher. If you're struggling to find your highs and your lows, this is a good indicator here as well. Helps you to, if you're struggling like with finding your market, just like the trend of the market and the structure, that kind of really helps you there. Whatever it is that you need to see the market, use it. But don't have like 10 or 5 indicators on your charts and you don't know what you're using them for. You have to have a purpose and it has to fit into your strategy. So if it is that you use this higher high, higher low, to kind of help you if you're struggling to find your support and resistance, and you have to see like also too that indicator, you got to look at it on different time frames. So there's different things that go into how you what indicators you use in the market, how it pertains to your strategy, what you're using it for, but always make sure that you're using it for the same thing every time and on the same time frame, and checking out, does these higher high, higher low strategy, does this look very clear on the 15-minute? How does it look on the 5-minute? So you have to do some back testing within those, within, your indicators as well too. So anywho, we're just using our pivotal zones. These are the settings here, the frame multiplier 32 and 2. And then we'll just use our EMA cross, again, a 10-20 cross. We are setting up our trades on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so we got a lot of crosses here. Again, once we see, we had that, consolidation. And so our crosses kind of tell us that as well. It tells us, the trend. Anywho, now we're seeing prices that EMA is kind of getting close together. We might see a cross to the upside, but before we even saw that EMA kind of cross there, we already saw that our pivotal zones, if we were setting up, remember we were talking about how we would set up our trades like to the next level, and I would look for the S0, and the S0 was at 33, just say 33.60. Price came directly to that area and then started to make higher highs. We expect that. So the fact that we're seeing this cross about to happen, our pivotal levels kind of give us an indication of where we might have a pullback. So now we want to see price kind of break out of this box here. We want to see it make a higher high or a higher low. We're kind of just stuck in the middle here. As we can see, this is our trade. Our candlesticks are kind of what they call bar coding. So, we had price at 33.65, closed at 33.60. This candle opened at 33.60. Close close to. So it's just playing in this little level, not really making significant highs, significant lows. I am expecting price to kind of break to the upside because we are at this S0 level. So here is my box that I'm waiting for price to make some sort of decision in this area. Now, because the market can kind of, wick so fast around, I would set a bracket order. This is just just what I do. I would set a bracket order, not at this high, maybe a little bit, at this price point, 33.70, because we know that, especially with the New York Open coming in, that the market tends to just grab all those orders, grabs the sell. We have sell stops here. We have sell orders. We have buy orders in this area. We have sell stops here, buy orders here. The same way, everyone's kind of waiting for that break. So I don't want to place my orders kind of too, near this kind of, the traffic and all the conjunction there. So let's see here. Okay, so if I'm on Top Step, really cool here, you can right click. I'm going to set a buy. We will just go in here with 3. Same thing with my sell stop, just setting it a little bit, stop sell. 3 contracts there, a little bit above. So once it breaks out of this area, and we'll watch, the trade here, I'm setting up for either a trade to the upside. We'll see if it's going to, or if it's going to break and make lower lows. We'll see a pivotal shift. Right now, there's just so many different things that can happen. I am personally waiting for some sort of confirmation there. Gold traders, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. What are you guys doing? What are you seeing? Would you guys be scalping this? Would you guys wait for this confirmation? Do we want to go to the 1 minute time frame just to see if we can get an entry on gold here with structure and trend on the 1 minute time frame? I want you guys to learn, the market and learn how to trade this with confidence, not missing out on your trades. That's why I put those bracket orders there, because sometimes, even if I'm wicked into a trade, if I wick into the buy and it breaks above there, I'm in with a smaller lot size. I am, just waiting for it to give me that confirmation of breakup structure. I'm setting it way above, this high here. So if it comes in, it, breaks that area, that means that, price is making a higher high. So even if it pulls back, I'm kind of confident in that. We'll have our stop losses very tight so that, we aren't risking too much. Alrighty, Kelly says she is going to wait. She's not in. She wants that confirmation. I agree. But do you guys know what you're waiting for? If you know what you're waiting for, throw some emojis in the chat, throw some hearts, like the channel, like the stream, show some love there so that I know everybody's with me and we're all on the same page. Okay, perfect. Okay, so you know exactly what you're looking for. Kelly said she's waiting for the confirmation. She learned her lesson. Okay, so if we are we always have to learn our lessons there. And so if we do take this buy to the upside, we're looking for, let's see, we can either do one of two things, from this high to this low, to see if price is going to come back to this 50.61.8 area. Seems like a very key level here, this 33.75 to 33.78 level. So if price breaks out of this box and goes to the upside, I'm looking for price to pull back here. So always want to set up my position tool, just because I don't want to get into the market and then, this break, and I'm trying to make decisions and like, no, I think it might go all the way up here to R7. And no, I mean, that could be a potential. If price does break above this level, then I can potentially see, it going up here to this R7. But right now, if we're still in this sell trend and we're just looking for pullbacks, we want to be realistic. We want to do, y'all ever got into a trade like that and you're like, oh, this thing's going to keep going. You want to hold on to it. And you're like, and then it just sells, or, you only get those 10 points. And then you look back and you're like, why did I want this, trade to go 20, 30 points when that's not even the range, when that's not, what I was looking at before, when there's resistance here. So I like to put those position tools on my chart just as a reminder. Sometimes we get into the market and things are going so nice that we totally forget what our plan was. Kind of like y'all ever be driving somewhere and then you're just driving. You're like, oh, wait, hold on a second. Why? How did I get here? So sometimes we get in automation mode with trading as well. And I just want to make sure that we are intentionally trading, we know where we're going, and we have, a clear plan. So again, set your TPs, have to have a destination there. Set your alerts. Once you see price coming up to this level, we can see if we have a pivotal shift. We can check our momentum. If price is giving us indication, if the market's giving us indication that we're continuing to buy and that we will push above this level here and, come up here to the R7, we never know. We'll have to see. But it's giving us that indication, then you just you arrange your trade. You adjust your take profit, you adjust your stop loss. But 9 times out of 10, when you are trading, you set your trade up, stick to your plan. When you're doing it in a clear mindset, your trade's going to play out. Your trade is going to play out. Your 11 points, we know gold gives us 11, 10 to 15. That's our range there. So this is a good, realistic trade here. How does everyone feel about it? I am, according to the strategy, looking to get it at 33.67. Exit zone here at our fibs. I'm going to throw it in our practice account here with Top Step. Again, this was, oh gosh. So this was, if you guys are trading for Forex, this is with Oanda here. Of course, let's go ahead and bring it on down to our GC with our futures, which is fine. It's the same exact thing. We're looking for the same exact setup. It's just different price. So future Forex, trading, if you're learning to trade gold with our Forex and your brokers there, price is around 33.64 again with Oanda. You guys drop. What's the price? I'm just curious. What's the price of gold in your broker? If you're trading gold right now, whether if it's futures, even if you're trading gold and Forex, who's your broker? What's the price? Let me see here. And I have KOT Forex. What is KOT Forex's price? Okay, so we're going to wait for that break. Let's take a look at something else. Do you guys want to take a look at US 30? You guys want to look at YM to see what the market structure is looking like there and set up some trades? We're going to just wait for a break. Let's go ahead and set up our alerts here. I don't have to keep looking at gold. All right. Same thing with GC. No wonder. Again, we'll use our Fibonacci retracement tool. We see that our 50.61.8 level is here. See on our futures here, that is also showing this 50.61.8 level is also showing as being our R7. You know that gold loves that R7, R8 level. So remember, I would just take this trade once I get the confirmation of this break above 34.22. We're trading gold futures there. In my demo, let's be clear. I'm not telling you what to trade. I am telling you what I'm doing in my demo. If this is something that you feel comfortable with, if you understand the strategy and you decide to take this trade or something similar to that in your live, rock out. But again, not financial advice, educational advice. We're just learning how to trade the market in live time here with gold. Okay, so futures traders, Forex market, whatever we're doing, we have our trade lined up here. And so Kelly says that gold is 33.63. Okay, cool. At that time. Okay, so let's look at our candlestick patterns here. I want to bounce to another asset, but let's just stay focused. So candlestick babies, is Charlotte here? Because Charlotte's really good with candlestick patterns. What is this candlestick called here? Well, maybe y'all are too. If we're looking at this candle right here, what is the name of this candle? And if you don't know what the name of this candlestick pattern is, no big deal. I'm talking about that one. This red candle here. No big deal. What does it mean? Because I don't want you guys to focus so much on the name. Some people want to call it this. Some people want to call it that. Some people want to call it a doji. Some people call it whatever. It's an indecision like candle, but just look at if you don't know the name, no big deal. Candlestick patterns. We're just looking at our market structure here. We're just looking at what these candlesticks tell us. So if price opened up at 33.64, it closed at 33.64.3, just a couple points there. And we see, what is these wicks tell us? These wicks tell us that the market was able to bring it to this low. The market was able, sellers were able to push price down and go to 33.60 to these previous lows of these other 15-minute candles, but it wasn't able to make a lower low. It was unable, let's see here. It was unable to break below this low here. And then also, the sellers were unable to sustain this sell. Price closed all the way back up here near the open. Then once we had this 15-minute candle open, it opened here. We have a nice green candle. So that's just telling us when we have a candle like this, the sellers don't seem too strong. They weren't really able, oh, hold on, it's 850, weren't really too strong. So we might have a little bit of a pullback here, but in our previous candle, we weren't able to make lower lows. The sellers weren't able to, sustain this candle here. So again, very much indecision, but not really looking like we're going to break this low here. Looks like the buyers are trying to take over. But again, still in this consolidation area. So we want to see a break out of this area. So as we can see, still just bouncing around here. Kelly says Morning Star. Where are those? Let me take a look here. I know we have our candlesticks here. There's a really cool site. Hold on. Let me grab it. In the meantime, what's your favorite candlestick pattern? Anyone trade patterns like the 3-bar reversal? Look at that green candle. What did we say? What did we say? It tried to pull back right here. The sellers, the sellers have not been strong enough. Now we're making higher highs out of this level. Now the buyers are trying to take over. We're cooling because we already have our bracket orders. We still want to wait for a break because remember, this area is still resistance. And I'm looking for our candlestick. Oh yeah, our memory game with our candlestick patterns. Here we go. Oh, we got our alert. Okay, so remember our memory game. Here, I'm going to drop this for you guys really quickly while we're watching the charts. We played this at our workshop before. Okay, it's breaking above. It's breaking above this area. All right, we are in profit. It's made a higher high. Our alert went off. That's the little noise that you guys heard earlier. So say if we were doing something, boom, we weren't zombies on the charts, the alerts went off, let us know that, okay, hey, our trade's about to be activated. We go here to our charts. This trade wasn't activated. Let's move it.
Order filled.
Okay, so let's go ahead and set up our trades here. So take profit. We're going to look at 33.75 to 33.78. So, oh, where am I? Oh, wait a second. Let me get back over here. I'm all over the place, y'all. Alrighty, sorry, 34.28 to 34.30. And top step here, 34.28 to 34.30. So just going to trail it here. I'm definitely not going to be risking. I am in with, excuse me, three three minis, which I forgot. I'm like three. I'm usually in with three micros, but we're all good. Definitely not risking that much on that trade. We are $250 in profit. Let's see here. All right, risking 450. If this trade comes up again, horrible risk management. We are in, well, this will be for 150K practice account. So I'm sorry. Let me not say horrible risk management. I was thinking we were in that 50K account here, but remember, we're just practicing in our demo. So risking 450, looking for price to come back up here to this 34.30 area. We are near the New York Open. So we'll see if we have enough to kind of hold through the New York Open. We set up on the 15-minute, waiting for price to kind of pull back here, make a higher high, come back to our 61.8 fib zone on the 15-minute time frame. How's everyone feeling? Did anyone else get activated, or are you guys still waiting? Alrighty, so our memory game here with our candlestick patterns. Let's choose, let's see. So let's click around. Oh, this is a memory game. Okay. This is a little different than how we had it before. 3 black crows. Dang. All right, I gotta practice on that one. Okay. So you guys have the game. Now you guys have something fun to do that's educational for the week. Okay, so it's about to be 9 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to end this stream a little earlier. I usually like to keep y'all till about 10. Not going to do that today. We've set up our trade for gold. We look at our entries now. Once this trade kind of breaks out into profit, we're going to move our trade according to the 5-minute time frame as we make higher highs and higher lows. So what do I mean by that? Let's just say, okay, we make a higher high. Price is right here. And by that, we break above this level, come up here. We come back and make a lower low. We break and make a higher high. Once, oh, stopped it. Hold on 1 second. Once we make a higher high and then we make this higher low here, then we can move our stop into profit. So be patient. I know you want to secure your trades. You can go and decrease your, reduce your risk by maybe, moving your stop loss up here, maybe to 34.13, just a little bit above these lower candles here. However, once we get into profit, stick with your structure. We want to see a higher low out of, your profit. So we need to see a break above this level here. We want to see price break above this resistance area. Is that 34.21? Just say 34.22, around that area, whatever it is. Once we see price break above this, making higher highs, here we might see a little retest where price comes back here to this area. Once we see price make a higher high, then we move our stop and profit. Don't clip your trade while it's in profit too early. Okay, so we got it set up for gold. How's everyone feeling? How's everyone feeling? Any questions? Any questions? YM, we have a cross. Looks like we might have a little sell. If you're looking for, an entry point, let's just do a quick, remember, I'm just doing something really quickly here. We start at the higher time frames. My voice is just shot, so I'm like, okay, so remember, same thing. We're waiting for price to break out of this box, break out of this make a higher high. Looks like, same thing. We had this high. This is US 30. For your US 30 traders, we're just looking at it on the futures market. Looking at our price structure here, we're just taking our Fibonacci retracement tool, doing the same exact thing, taking it from this high here down to this low. Just going to pull it across to see. Okay, and what did price do? It came right back up to the 61.8 level. That would have been a perfect, these sell candles here would have been our ideal entry to enter into this sell. Right now, we're going to see if price just comes back to this 44.06, kind of 44.20 zone. It's the New York Open, so see if we're coming back up here. We do see some, candles, but then ideally we want to see either a break below. Sorry, just being nosy. A break below here to continue with that sell. We did get our cross, so and we see where our S1 and S0 levels are. So that would be, this is just without looking at an entry here. Remember, we're going to see if it comes down here. But if you just wait for that break and that's your confirmation, you're going to take your stop loss is going to be above the previous high just a little bit. And you're going to be taking your trade down to 44, according to the strategy, 44, 250, 240 kind of level there. So we want to wait for this break, wait to see, you want to get the best entry possible. So it would be nice if price could come back up here, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. We're just waiting. Again, let me move this out the way because it hasn't happened. So trying to get an entry, at these levels here. If not, once price breaks below, I would be taking my trade down, It's that was about 98 points. If I can get, a decent entry there, want to wait for, I would say, New York Open about 9:45. But if it happens, during that time and you see price just breaking out into a clear trend, then cool. Okay. Alrighty, you guys, thank you all for joining me. It's been amazing. Next week, Ty did ask if we could go over getting started with top steps, step by step. So I'm going to create a small little video this weekend just to give you guys the steps of how to get started. And then we'll do it live in live time. We'll go over, I'll make a cheat sheet again kind of how we had, or I was telling you, like, guys, like the contracts, how they differ. So I'll do that for gold. I mean, like the price fluctuations, I'll do that for gold. I'll do that for the Dow Jones, the YM. We'll do it for ES, which is SPX. Don't really trade NASDAQ, but you have the option to do so if you choose. Alrighty, guys. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you guys are set up for success. Drop your charts in the chat and happy trading. See y'all next Wednesday.